Today in this video, we're going to do a review of the 2023 YZ250. How's it going, everyone? My name is Dylan Coventry from Coventry Racing, and today I've got in front of me the 2023 YZ250 two-stroke. I purchased this bike in January of 2023 and had the opportunity to ride this bike once a week, every week from January to November, and I have a lot of things to talk about. Everyone obviously wants to know the bad things first, so let's talk about the bad things first. The number one bad thing that this bike doesn't have is the fuel injection. Obviously, this bike still has a carburetor on it, so the only bikes that offer that fuel injection is going to be the KTM two-strokes. And Yamaha has stuck with their guns on this model from essentially 2005 to present day bikes. Some people obviously enjoy having a carb on their bike, and you can always go out and buy the Electron Bilotron Pro and throw it on your machine and have a smooth running bike and really zero maintenance on the carburetor. Now, of course, this requires you to go out and pay some more money. Obviously, you got to spend a good chunk of change to get a new carb, but the stock carb seems to be doing just fine. You do have to play with it just off of the temperature, just off of the conditions of the day, things like that. And now the stock carburetor seems to be good. It's worked well for me. It's a Kian carburetor, and I've been running it since I bought this bike. I only had to do one teardown on the carburetor, and that was just because the float got stuck. I went in and adjusted the float myself. Took me a little bit of time, but it was a good learning lesson in the end. The other bad thing about this bike is going to be right here. Once again, it's a 2023 model, and you would have thought Yamaha would have considered an electric start on the bike. However, they stuck with their guns with the traditional kickstart. Some people prefer the Kickstarter just because the batteries on the e-starts die and then you got to charge them or you got to replace them. So I understand the debate on both ends. However, this is 2023 and this is one of the only flaws that this bike really has. So let's talk about the good of this bike. The best thing of this bike when it comes stock is going to be its KYB suspension. All Yamahas come with the KYB suspension and it is beautiful. As you can go ahead and see on the forks, I have SRS suspension. That is a local suspension shop here in Ohio. I have ran the stock suspension for almost an entire year, and honestly, it felt amazing. However, towards the end, it started to get a little soft, and that probably could have just been on my end, maybe messing with some adjustments I could have done. However, I hit the point where I really wanted to invest in my bike, so I went out and got some nice suspension work done. Coming in at a close second for the best part of this bike is how easy and cheap it is to maintain this bike. I have owned 254 strokes, I have owned 454 strokes, I have owned many bikes, and this is a cheap, easy bike to maintain. This past December, I decided I was going to change out the top end on this motor just for my own sake. I knew this bike had a lot more time on it before it really needed it. However, I did it for myself, and I just wanted to make sure I had it done. And so, looking at this bike, it was only about $100 to $150 all in all to do the top end. Finally, this bike has been the most enjoyable and most fun bike I've ever ridden in my life. When you need power, there's power. When you need smooth, there's smooth. When you need comfort, there's comfort. Yamaha has really stuck to their guns from 2005 to present day on their YZ builds, just specifically because they knew how well this bike was built. These bikes are very well manufactured, and honestly, they're probably some of the best dirt bikes you can buy in the market. This bike is the perfect bike, in my opinion, for the average rider and weekend warrior. Even if you're a pro rider and you just want to have fun and you want a bike that you can tear up and get a lot of power and a lot of speed, by all means, I recommend the YZ250. So after owning this bike for a little over a year and riding it really just about every single week of the year, this bike has truly been the best dirt bike I've ever owned, and I would highly recommend going out and getting you one of these bikes. Thank you for watching the video today. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like and a subscribe, and if you haven't seen already, you can head on over to my TikTok account at Coventry Racing. I am Dylan Coventry once again. Thanks for watching.